Well, that was a really interesting look back into the golden age. I don't know if it was the golden age of television. It was my age. This is Rob Taub. You're listening to Stribling's New York here on WOR AM Radio 710 on your digital dial. If you want to learn more about Stribling, you can call Tony Simone, or actually just go send him an email. tsimone@stribling.com, TSIMONE @stribling.com. Tony has an amazing blog. He is a Renaissance man. TonySimone.com, Tony Simone. He will tell you everything you need to know, not just about real estate, but life, philosophy, anything else you may want to know. Anyway, we're going to come back to the modern era instead of talking about Andy Griffith and Don Knotts, who most people under the age of 60 have no idea who those two men are. We have Christian Winfield joining us, and he is a sports writer for About.com Sports. I discovered him on Twitter. We met. We talked on the phone. I love his writing about the Knicks. I think he really knows basketball, hence he is a guest. He's with us in the studio. Welcome, Christian.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So let's get right down to it, okay? Because I'm so old school, and I grew up watching Phil Jackson play power forward for the Knicks, and I once stood next to him at a Bob Dylan concert, so I've given him too much leeway. But here's the simple question. If the triangle offense was so great, how come no other teams use it?
Well, that's actually a really good question. I think that he's relying on the past, like you said. You know, they used it in Chicago with Jordan. They used it with Kobe and Shaq. But the league is changing. The league is evolving. The league is getting quicker and smaller, and it's hard to run those two triangle big men against the power forward who can play 1 through 5 now. So it is kind of outdated, but I think Phil is more so trying to establish a way of playing basketball, which is selfless and moving the ball and trusting your teammates rather than just sticking to the triangle, which you can see this season. They're not always sticking to the triangle. They're running that high screen and roll. They're trying to spread the ball out, but it's not looking so good for the triangle offense right now.
Well, I just don't get it. I mean, when you and I first met, we talked about the pick and roll. I always use as a perfect example is John Stockton and Karl Malone. Those guys ran the pick and roll for about 15 years together. Everybody knew they were going to do it, yet it was unstoppable.
Yeah, but I think the thing about the triangle is that there's no set offense. It's kind of like a read and react type of offense, and you would like to see the Knicks run the pick and roll more efficiently than what they do now, but with Jose Calderon at the one, it's tough, especially when you don't have a guard that can get out and transition, and it's just tough right now, especially with the roster they have
Jose
right now.
Calderon just seems old, even if he wasn't in basketball. He just seems like an old man. It's like, I think I could run a fast break better than that.
You might. I think we should get you a Knicks jersey and see what can happen.
I'm 60 years old, but I feel like I have more exuberance. I feel like, I do have these dreams that I can still jump. I think I could get about it. I could still jump higher than Charles Oakley.
I think a lot of us could.
Well, so this says you grew up in Brooklyn and you followed your home team since childhood. Where do you see the Knicks going? You're a Knick historian.
Oh man, it depends on how willing they are to continue to build around Carmelo Anthony. I really love what I see out of KP. You know, he's been playing very, very well. I think he's hit the rookie wall a little bit, running up and down. He's tired. You can see it in his numbers. I really think we need to get a point guard, an established point guard. I like Mike Conley. A lot of people are leaning towards Rondo. I think we need to get an established point guard. Rondo would bring the championship mentality, but he can't knock down those perimeter jumpers. I really like Conley. And then I think we really need to get our draft picks back, which starts in 2017. We don't have any in 2016, but once we start building through the draft again.
Melo's going to be in a wheelchair by 2017. What? So if we get Rondo, and I happen to love Rondo, he's like the most competitive human being in the world.
Absolutely.
He's crazy competitive.
Yeah, I agree.
He plays this particular board game. You know about the game that he plays with? He plays like a high school full of kids in multiple games, and he goes in and it just destroys them all. He has no mercy. It's not like, he's gonna like do something for a kid who's sick and he wants to do him a favor and let him like win at a game of chess or checkers. He'll just destroy them. There's something about him that I really like. Even though he lacks a perimeter game, I wonder though, with somebody like KP who's still developing, if you pull him out on the perimeter when you got somebody like a Rondo penetrating and he can dish it back out, a la Steve Nash or something.
Yeah.
What could happen then?
I think if we get Rondo, we also need to get a shooting guard because I love Aaron Aflalo. I don't think he's a starting two in the league anymore. As quick as the point guards have gotten, the two guards are more explosive as well, and he's having difficulty guarding them. But I think if you get Rondo, number one, our transition points are going to go up. We're having a tough time getting out in fast breaks. And then he's going to shore up the defensive area where, John Wall killed us not too long. He had 28 points, 17 assists.
Well, if you're watching the Denver game a few nights ago, it's like when you look at that, at who he had on the floor, it's like a team of journeymen. And not even role players almost.
Yeah, but what they do is they run, and especially with the altitude over there in Denver, it's just tough. And then this team, the Knicks came out, and it didn't even look like they wanted to win. If you bring Rondo, he's not going to let people, play without heart, and that's something I think he'd bring if they get him.
What do you think of Derek Williams?
I talk to Derek Williams a lot, not like outside. I'm not outside the locker room, in the locker room. That's one of the people I talk to a lot, and he wants to win. He's like, he knows what he brings off the bench, and I love what he brings. You kind of don't know what you're gonna get from him. He's gonna push the ball in transition. You're not sure if he's gonna score, if he's gonna have one of those nights. But he's always being aggressive, and I do like that about him.
I like him a lot too. So my take on Kurt Rambis is Rambis doesn't like him, and he says he's not a 3 and he's not a 4. So that he's given like a Charles Smith kind of analysis of him. Is that correct, you think?
I wouldn't say Rambis doesn't like him. I don't think Rambis likes inconsistency, and that's something that the Knicks have dealt with all season long. You don't know, even with Carmelo, you don't know if he's going to give you 30 or 13. And Derek Williams is just another case of inconsistency. Sometimes he's going to give you 15 points. Sometimes he'll give you 5 on 15 missed shots. So it's just the inconsistency that's plaguing the Knicks that Rambis doesn't like so much.
That makes sense. Okay, then let me give you. You're going to love this analogy. If you have we have Formica here in the studio, but let's say you have like a nice wooden counter or fancy wood or marble.
Okay.
And you spill something on it and you leave it eventually, because the marble or the granite is porous and it seeps in and you're never going to get it out. And I feel like this is seeped into the Knick organization. It's like in the wood on the floor. What is it with these guys? It's just like this lack of zeal and zest and exuberance and caring. They're making a lot of money. Come on.
I think part of it is they don't have anyone on their team that knows how to win. And that's something, even in the organization. That's why I love the idea of bringing Phil, because he has all the rings. He knows what it takes to win. But now it's about getting those players, getting those Rondo-type players, getting those players that know how to win. That's why I also think I really like Courtney Lee. I'd love it if the Knicks got him there, because he's someone that's going to play defense on the perimeter and hit threes, and he's a winner. He hasn't won a championship, but he's been to the finals with Orlando, and he's had a lot of playoff experience. So that's another person I think they should go.
Okay, so we got a shot at Rondo. What other point guard is out there that we could get?
Mike Conley is an unrestricted free agent this year. Not sure if he's going to leave Memphis. He said on the record he's going to weigh all of his options, and that even though Marc Gasol opted in over the summer, he's not committed. Eric Bledsoe, I believe, is an unrestricted. He might be a restricted free agent, but I'm not sure if we can pry him away. The market isn't really too big right now in 2016 for point guards. I know 2017 is when Russell Westbrook is coming out, so it's gonna be interesting these next couple of years.
Okay, before we wrap it up, we'll leave the Knicks behind, since all I could do is complain. I'm such an old geezer. I went to games in 1971, 69. The Golden State Warriors, the Dubs. I love Steph Curry, but I like LeBron James. I mean, does Cleveland have a shot this year? They don't even have 50 wins yet.
That's a great question. I'm actually pulling for Toronto to come out of the East, and I think Toronto would give Golden State a run in the finals, just because if you look at their matchups this year, Golden State has beaten them in 2 games by a combined 8 points. And I think especially when they get DeMarre Carroll back, which they're talking about, he's on this timetable, he should be back. Hopefully it's for a playoff run. I think they kind of match Golden State's intensity. Not sure if they can match up with them in size and how they spread the ball out, but I really like what Toronto's doing. I think they're going to give Cleveland and LeBron a really tough time.
All right, so tell everybody where they can find you. Is it at about.com?
Yeah, about.com sports. They have a bunch of they have team-specific sites. So if you go on about.com sports and click on the Knicks page, you find me.
And where are you on Twitter and Instagram? Tell everybody about
Twitter
that
and Instagram is at Chris Splashed, KRISPLASHED. Follow me.
Yeah, I mean, really, Christian Winfield knows basketball. I love his writing. I think he's As J.J. Hunsaker once said in The Sweet Smell of Success, he's going to go a big mile. He's a really good writer, and thank you very much for joining us in the studio here.
Thank you for
We'll
having
have you back soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me
Okay.
whenever you want.
Okay, bye.
All right.